When you think about legendary Mopar muscle car engines, what comes to mind? The mythical 426 Hemi with its hemispherical combustion chambers and street racing dominance? The thunderous 440 six-pack with its trio of two-barrel carburetors gulping fuel like there's no tomorrow? Maybe the screeching 340 small block that revved to the moon? But there's one engine that powered more Mopar muscle cars than any of those icons. One engine that showed up in everything from budget-priced street brawlers to family station wagons to police pursuit cars chasing down criminals at over 130 miles per hour. An engine that most people actually raced, actually owned, and actually drove every single day. The Chrysler 383. The unsung hero of the muscle car era, the engine that did everything. Let's rewind to 1958. Chrysler had a problem. Their first-generation Hemi engines, the Firepower V8s, were engineering marvels, powerful, efficient, built with aircraft engine expertise, but they were also expensive, complex, and slow to manufacture. Meanwhile, GM and Ford were cranking out affordable big block V8s by the thousands, and Chrysler was losing ground fast. The solution? A completely new family of big block V8 engines. Chrysler engineers, led by Robert Rary, had just 7 years to design, test, and put into production an engine that could match the competition. The result was the B-Series engine family, introduced for the 1958 model year. The initial lineup included a 350 cubic inch and a 361 cubic inch V8, but Chrysler needed more. So for 1959, they bored out the 361 to create a 383 cubic inch power plant. With a bore of 4.25 inches and a relatively short stroke of 3.375 inches, the 383 was designed to be a free-revving, versatile engine that could be tuned for anything from luxury cruising to all-out performance. Now here's where things get interesting. There were actually two different 383 engines in 1959 and 1960. The first was a raised block variant, an RB engine with a 4.030-inch bore and longer 3.75-inch stroke. This was essentially a stopgap measure because Chrysler's Trenton engine plant couldn't switch production lines fast enough between the new B-Series and RB Series engines. So they made a 383 on both lines simultaneously. The RB 383 was used exclusively in Chrysler Windsor and Saratoga models from 1959 to 1960. About 100,000 of these Golden Lion engines were built before the plant figured out how to do faster line switches. By 1961, the RB 383 disappeared, leaving only the B-Block 383 that would become legendary. That B-Block 383, the one we're talking about today, displaced 383.03 cubic inches with its 4.25-inch bore and 3.375-inch stroke. The short stroke meant this engine loved to rev. It breathed easily, responded quickly, and had a much different personality than its longer-stroked big block siblings. In its early years, the 383 wasn't marketed as a performance engine at all. It was the standard power plant in mid-level Chryslers, a smooth and torquey V8 that provided effortless highway cruising. The 1959 383 made 305 horsepower with a two-barrel carburetor, respectable for the time, but nothing earth-shattering. But Chrysler Performance divisions saw potential. For 1960, Dodge offered the D500 package with a cross-ram induction manifold and dual four-barrel carburetors. Plymouth had the Golden Commando version with similar upgrades. These high-performance 383s made 330 horsepower and a massive 460 pound-feet of torque, more torque than the legendary 392 Hemi had ever produced. The 383's big 4.25-inch bore, the same as the 426 Hemi, allowed for large 2.0